Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning.
Waalaikumsalam, sir.
Morning, sir.
Waalaikumsalam, sir.
Waalaikumsalam, sir.
Right, so this week we are going to continue with our discussion on logic structure topic. So let's start with last week lab question. Okay. Some of you didn't submit it. So what's your problem, class? Those yang who didn't submit last week. Any problem that you want to raise? For example, C11 only 18 submitted. 12, 15, and section 13, 17 only. So, do you encounter any problem to complete this task? Is it difficult, guys? Anything that you want to ask?
Doktor,
Yeah.
submit bukan yang dekat atas lagi satu tu
This one, right? Lecture. Lecture is let's see. I also forgot. Lecture is what? What did I ask you to submit? Lecture? Something else, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, lecture is on the positive and negative, right? Yeah, this one. This is a different task.
Tak, yang bawah ada lagi satu tu dia lab. Dia due date dia lagi cepat.
Which one?
Yang week 6 lab question tu.
Lab 6 question.
No, below, sir. Lab sheet week 6 and 7. Yeah.
No.
Yang
Submit
week
over
6
here, right?
tu.
Right, yang week 6 lab question tu.
The lab 6.
Atas dia.
You guys submitted here. Okay, for those who submitted here, please submit over here. Don't submit here. This one, week 6 submission. So those yang already submitted over here, please resubmit again. Upload over here. Otherwise, your attendance is going to be 0 for last week. Okay, resubmit again. Okay, but for now, let's discuss this first. Okay, later on you resubmit. Okay. Okay, so this is actually a very straight to the point question. Okay, whereby there are two components. There are two structure combined in one single problem. Okay. The first one is, if you look at from this table, then you straight away can see that this is a decision involved, right? Okay. So in your answer, okay, in your design, so make sure you have a decision, okay, decision that is going to differentiate, okay, the PSI category, okay, based on the PSI value. So clearly, the input for this system is how many input, class? How many variables for input?
1.
2.
Hmm.
5.
Oh, 5. Okay. The variable that scatter. Okay, scatter the input in this case is only one. Only one. The correct answer is only one. Okay. The correct answer is only one, which is the PSI value. Okay. But then we are going to repeat the input process how many times?
10.
10.
10 times, inputting maybe different value, but we are going to store it in the same one input variable only, which is the PSI. Okay, for those who get a different answer, you need to check again. Okay, I'm not sure how you get, or maybe some of you got a different answer. Okay, for example, those yang uh, define more than one input then. So what is the second input if you have more than one? Maybe we can discuss it. What else other than PSI? Ada? Anything? Tak ada pula.
Tak ada saya.
We can discuss. Maybe your answer is correct. Okay. We can discuss this. Tak ada Alright, so we have one input to determine the category. Kan, let's say if user entered 52, so the category is going to be moderate. Okay, so for that, how many decision symbol that needed for decision only?
4.
Okay, excluded the loop and loop, we are going to have one symbol decision. For decision only, so we are going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 minus by 1, okay, 4 symbol. Okay, 4 diamond symbol for this table only. Okay. I think most of you is going to get the answer correct for the decision part, I think. For example, your friend over here, siapa punya ni? Okay, your friend over here enter day. This is wrong, sorry. So only one input. It is not a day, right? Day is already no, this is wrong. Let's look at different answer. Want to check the answer? Anybody volunteer to share your answer? Ada yang think that your answer is correct? Alright, for example, this one enter day as well. So why you need to enter day? This is mystery. Why you need to enter day? Okay, wrong. Okay, uh, this seems correct. Siapa punya ni tadi? Okay, enter PSI, read. Okay. This is correct. Okay, this is correct. Okay, this is correct, class. Okay, to understand this question, you need to look at the output. Okay, so in this case, we have how many output, guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right?
Yes.
So all the outputs is related to the calculation, right? If you want to get this kind of output, for sure you need to have a calculation, kan? How you want to get 2, 1, 5, 0, 2, kan? Okay, so there are only two types of calculation, okay, involving looping, which is what? The first one is, what is it? The first equation.
Category.
Huh? I mean, in general, we do looping, okay, to calculate two things, right? The first one is for counting, right? The second one is for accumulating, correct? So in this case, is it accumulating or counting?
Accumulating.
Accumulate. What do you want to accumulate? What do you want
Number
to
of
accumulate?
days.
The number of days is, I think the correct one is for counting, you know. You want to count how many good day. You want to count how many moderate day, right? Is it correct? You want to count how many unhealthy day, based on the PSI. Okay? So inside of the decision, not only you put, for example, uh, category equal to good, and for example, if okay, let's look at the answer over here. Okay. Okay, enter PSI. Yes, you need to put it inside of the looping. So looping, and your friend define while this less than 11. Okay, because she start the days with 1. So if you start the days with 0, so this should be what? Less than?
10. 10,
Okay,
10, 10.
so why we make it like this because the question asks us to repeat 10 times, okay? Because we want to, okay, the question specifically, okay, asks you to monitor air quality of exactly 10 days. So there are 10 inputs. Okay, 10 inputs for 10 days. Okay, 10 different input for 10 days. So you need to loop the system, okay, for 10 days. So example of input already also already been given. Okay, for example, this is needed if you are required to develop the what we call it, desk checking. Okay, so you need to use this input over here. Okay, provided over here. Okay, so different days have different PSI rate. Okay, clearly stated over here. So this is the input, kan? So first loop user will enter 49. Second loop user will enter 40. Right? So the input is 10 times. Okay, repeated 10 times. Okay, 10 times. Okay, so that one clear about this one. Okay, clear about the looping. Okay, looping, there are three elements again. Three elements needed for looping to be working. The first one is the counter, right? Counter what? What we call this? Counter? Three elements.
Counter
The first one, yeah? Sorry, what? Counter?
one.
What we call this? There are three elements needed for looping. The first one is counter. Counter. Initialization. Initialization. Okay. Okay, the second one is this one. Counter to be used for decision, kan? This one. Okay, counter that is going to be needed for decision. Okay, and then the third one is located where? The third element. Located where? The third element for looping. Where is it, class? Where should we put the third element? Ah, mana? Where is it? Where's the third element? Over here.
Dia +1.
Yeah. So this is we refer as counter update. It doesn't matter what's the name that you use. So for example, for the for last week, I'm using the variable counter itself, kan? Okay. So it doesn't matter what name that you want to use. Okay, as long as it is reflecting the uh, problem itself, kan? So in this case, the one that is controlling the looping is variable days, kan? Variable day, because we need to loop for 10 days, right? So the most accurate one is you need to use variable day, but if you don't want to use variable days also can, kan? So you just change this to any variable name that you want, kan? For example, you want to use counter over here, kan? Counter, for example, kan? Counter, kan? So you need to change it also over here. Okay, and then another one is okay, at the bottom of the loop, kan? At the bottom of the loop is where you put the counter update. So counter update is also similar as the counting equation, kan? So counting equation and counter update is mainly the same, the same thing. Okay. So by default, I said already, kan? So this is the template. Okay, you put it in any problem, okay, that involving looping, then you will get it correct. Okay. In any looping problem, you put these three elements, so you will get, for sure, you will get full mark for the looping. Okay, looping only. Right. So then, moving to the decision. So finish with the looping. So inside of the looping, the first element is input. Okay, input. Because you need to repeat it 10 times, so you cannot put this before the looping, kan? For example, maybe some of you put it over here, kan? So it is outside of the looping. So if you put it over here, meaning that you can only enter the input one time, kan? Okay, so in this case, we need to repeat it 10 times. So you cannot put it outside. So you need to put it within the loop body. So this is the loop body, kan? Okay, and then after getting the PSI value, so we check with the decision. So this is the decision. Everyone already passed this, right? So how to develop the decision? I think everyone already know about this. But maybe the one that you are confused is if this is true, and so what will happen, then? So if, for example, if PSI is between 0 and 50, so what will happen? So this is where you put your counting, eh? So what do you want to count? You want to count if this is correct. So we are going to add this to the good, good value punya count, kan? So if 10 good value, okay, if let's say the inputs over here, if let's say the input is all above, all below 50. For example, this one 49, this is 48, 40 what? All input is below 50. Okay, all input is below 50. So it will going to be a good category, right? So refer back to your friend answer. So let's say if the input is 49. So over here it is true, right? So it will calculate this one. Okay. So the first calculation is going to be 0 plus 1. So how we get 0 value? From the initialization. So this is also very important. Okay. If you want to do counting and accumulating, so you need to have the initial value of the counting and also accumulating, right? So in this case, this is the initial, also counter initialization. Okay. Counter. But this time what we want to count? We want to count the good day, kan? Alright. So if you have 10 counting equation, so you need to have 10 counter initialization. Do you get this, class? Faham tak?
Faham.
Faham, sir.
Okay. So why we need this initialization? To calculate the first equation. Okay, the first equation, if you didn't put this, so what will happen is it will search. So what is the first value for good sum, kan? To add by 1. So it won't find the value. So you will get incorrect output at the end of your system. Right? So this is needed for the first looping. So the second looping is going to carry the value of good sum. Okay, for example, 0 plus 1. So good sum is going to be 1, kan? So it will go over here and it will, okay, do the counter update and it will go up again. Okay, check the counter whether true or not. If true, then user will enter. Okay, so user enter 47. So it will go over here again. So good sum equal to 1 plus 1, kan? Because previously the value is 1. So not 0 anymore, right? So the value already been updated to 1, right? So 1 plus 1, good sum value is 2. Okay, so it will go up again 10 times. Okay, so let's say if the PSI is all below 50, right? So 10 times, so at the end, the value is going to be 10 lah. Okay, at the end, the value is going to be 10. And then it will go out. Okay, print good sum. Okay, it will print 10. Okay, print moderate sum. It will print how many? What's the value for moderate sum? If all value is below 50. So what's it
0.
going to be? 0, right? So over here?
Also 0, sir.
0, 0, 0. So the answer is going to be, the output is going to be 10, 0, 0, 0, 0 lah. If that is the case, okay? If the PSI value is below than 50 for all the 10 inputs. Okay? Everyone understand this? Boleh? Any question?
Boleh, sir.
Anybody that is still confused, you can ask over here. You know, it's okay. I will explain again if you don't understand. Anybody? Any question? Tak ada ke? Or any other answer that you want to share with the rest of the class? Any other answer than this?
Sir,
Yeah.
why we cannot enter day as input? So like example day is 1, while counter kurang daripada 11. So kalau day tu masih dalam lingkungan tu, kira tak boleh ke?
Okay, boleh. Alright, boleh. Okay, that's the one that we want to discuss today. Alright. So this is what we call as boleh sekejap So I will get back to you later, okay? So this one, okay, in this case, the most what we call the most appropriate types of loop structure or loop type that we can apply over here is automatic loop. Okay, so the reason why it is called automatic loop is because it is predefined loop. So a programmer himself that already designed the program so to loop how many times. For example, in this case, it is fixed already 10 times. Okay, user cannot change it. Okay, user cannot change the how many times the system should be looped. Okay, in this case, the requirement already mentioned the system should be repeated 10 times. Okay, so the most accurate loop type to apply in this case is counter loop. Sorry, automatic loop. Okay, but let's say if you want to use while or do while, can you do that? Yes, of course you can do that. Okay, but you have to make it somehow something like your friend do over here, right? So it is not automatic loop structure, but it is still automatic. Okay, so it is still correct. However, it is not controlled by the user. Okay, user cannot control how many loops. Okay, faham tak?
Faham, sir.
Faham. Okay, but okay, so some of you okay, put the controlling elements again. Okay, so let's get back to last week punya notes kan. Ni ke last week?
Sir, ada orang tak masuk lagi.
Masuk. Okay. Sekejap Wait. Okay. Okay, can you see my words?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is from last week kan?
Nampak.
Boleh So this is from last week. Okay, the one that I'm using for to explain about the different types of loop structure kan. Okay. But if you notice, although this is not automatic kan, but how many loops? How many loops that already predefined by me? How many loops again, class? If you still remember this one, if you look at from the design, so how many loops that it will happen over here?
5.
5.
5, right? So can user make it 4 or maybe more than 5? Can? Is it possible? User, not programmer kan? I'm the one who program this. User control how many loops can happen to this system?
No.
No.
No, right? So user can only enter the input for number. Okay, but user cannot control the amount of looping, okay, in this system. So for sure, so this type of problem, okay, the most appropriate types of loop structure should be used is automatic, kan? So automatic is which one kan? So this one, okay, where we already predefined. So it should be looping 5 times from counter 1 to counter 5. This is the most accurate. But if you are using, for example, this one do while, also correct. Okay, also correct. Okay, no problem, man, no problem. Okay, you will still also get full mark for this. Okay, but let's say if, okay, we change the requirement. Okay, for now we change the requirement. Not that user have to follow, but user have to determine whether they want to proceed with the system. Okay, meaning that whether they want to loop again or they want to terminate the loop. Okay, you understand? You understand what I mean? Okay, meaning that at the end of the system, okay, at the end of the system, it will ask the user, do you want to repeat the system? Do you want to repeat entering the numbers, for example, kan? If user enter yes, then it will repeat. Okay. If user enter no, then it will stop the loop and then it will immediately what? Do what? After it stop the loop, what will it do in this case?
Print sum.
Yeah, in this case, after user said no, kan? No, didn't want to repeat the system. So no, get outside from the loop and print sum. Okay, so clearly, what should we change over here? The value of no, the variable, what variable should we change over here, class? Which variable that we must change over here? Okay, what variable controlling the loops? In this case, what variable that is controlling the loop?
Counter.
Counter kan? Counter is the one that controlling the loop. So clearly we need to do something with the counter. Okay. So logically, what should be the value for counter to make the to make the system repeat if it is if user enter yes. So first, where we need to change? If user enter yes, then we repeat again. So what should be the decision? Is it still 6?
No.
So what should be the decision?
Yes, no.
Yes.
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 No, yes, if user enter yes, it will repeat. So is it yes or no over here?
Oh, yes.
What yes? What should be, what is the operator that we should use over here?
Equal.
Equal to.
Equal to Apa?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. It can be yes, it can be why no, why and. So let's say if we put y, that if yes, we need to use double quote. Okay. Yes. Nampak tak? Okay. Okay. That one. Okay. Element number one. So there are three elements. Kan? So what else? What else, guys? This is the first element. There are three elements for counter. Next is
Initialize.
initialize. Okay, so what should we put? What should we put in initialize?
Yes.
Yes.
Equal to yes.
Counter must be true. Okay, it must be true for this decision. Otherwise, it won't come over here. Okay. Otherwise, if you put this one, what will happen? Okay, if you forget to change this, what will happen? Okay, when the system reach this decision, what will happen?
Skip the
Yeah, it will give false, right? Because counter equal to 1. So this one, decision, to make it true, it must be yes. So if counter equal to 1, it will false. So it won't get into the loop body. So this must be tally with the decision. Okay, so counter must equal to yes for the initialization. Okay, if you put over here y, then it must be y lah. Boleh? Okay, next. What else?
update.
Update. Yeah. So what should we put over here? Who's controlling the loop?
User.
User. Okay, so what symbol should we use over here?
Yang enter tu.
Enter tu apa? Input kan? So it should be input from user. Okay, input from user. Input what?
Counter. Input
Okay.
counter.
Enter counter. Okay, good. Betul tak? Kelas. Okay, so you can test lah. So counter equal to yes, sum equal to 0. So for accumulate, we didn't change kan? Accumulate is this value. Otherwise you can count kan? So counter equal to yes. Is it correct? Yes. True. Enter number. So calculate accumulate number. And then enter counter. This should be followed by the question lah. Okay. So there must be a question asking user. So either they want to continue with the system, click yes. Type yes kan. If they want to uh, stop the system, enter no. So let's say if user enter yes, so it will go up again over here, bring the counter value which is yes. So yes, it will repeat again. Yes, repeat until user enter other than yes lah. For example, user enter his name. Kan? For example, user enter Ali over here. What will happen?
False.
Ali. Enter Ali. So it still give the system value of false kan? Doesn't matter, right? Okay? You understand this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So same goes to do while. Okay? Same goes to do while. However, so this is where you need to properly select, okay, what types of loop structure that you must use. Okay, for example, if we follow the same setting, okay, from while kan, if you apply it over here, so this one, yes. Okay, counter yes, enter number. This one, user enter counter kan. Okay, is it correct class? Is it still correct? Or you cannot use this for do while? Correct or not? Huh? Betul tak?
Betul kot.
Betul kan? Betul lah kan? Okay, this is still correct. Okay, in this case, okay, for this case, it is correct. Okay, so counter equal to yes. Okay, enter the loop body. Okay, user enter number, and then it will ask user whether they want to proceed, okay, with the system, or they want to terminate the system. Okay, so if user enter yes, then it will repeat again. Okay, so the flow is still correct. Okay, right. So for that particular cases, okay, where user need to determine kan, whether they want to continue the loop or they do want to continue the loop. So either one, you can use while or do while. Okay, use while or do while. Okay, if the number of looping already fixed, okay, for example, 5 looping, 10 looping, so you can use while, do while, or automatic loop. Either one, okay, from these three you can use. Do you understand it, class? Faham tak?
Faham, faham.
Any question? Any question? Tak ada. Okay, so we finish, okay, with the loop. So loop is very easy because only involving 3 types of loop structure kan. But you need to also look at the notes. Okay, this one I let you to read it by yourself. Okay, notes also, once you already understand, okay, the concept of looping, so for sure you will understand this note. Okay. Okay, but this one just to strengthen your understanding, and also there is a specific PAC, IC, IPO, and also desk check. Okay, for looping. For looping, for example, for PAC, okay, you need to put the element of looping inside of the processing required. Okay, same like the decision lah. So if you are using looping, so somewhere over here mention about the looping kan. Let's say if you want to use while, so just put it in brief also okay. If you want to put it in details also okay, as long as you mention there's a loop in the question kan, in the requirement, okay, in the processing required, you must put okay something like this. Okay, over here. For example. Okay, and then for the IC, okay, I'm saying this you may kan. So this is actually next week chapter we are going to cover in details about this. But in general, you may put over here something like this. Okay, okay, the one that is repeated, you can put a dot over here. For example, user need to enter 10 times kan, 10 value of this. So we need to repeat it 10 times the input. Okay, the input needed to be repeated 10 times. So you put over here. Okay, until 10. For example, over here you change it until 10. What is it? IPO. IPO apa tadi?
PSI.
Until 10 PSI value. For example. So over here also calculation, since you need to count it for 10 times, so this should be also have dots. So print, we only print it one time, so no need to put dot over here. This one in general lah. So how to define, how to put dot or not. Okay, put it in the element or process that is repeated only. Alright, clear Right. Then IC. So similar with the decision, you must put the looping element over here. Okay. For example, if you are using do while, so put do while, can. And then we have decision inside of it, can. So put the decision inside of it. Okay. And the most important thing that I want you to look in the note is on the example of how to use dash check if the problem involving loop. Okay, so this is one example if you are using automatic. Okay, the next is example if you are using while. So have a look at this. Okay, you will be asked again during the final nanti lah. You need to understand this, okay? How to understand this? By looking at this example, okay? And also, okay, I think we are going to end this early so that I want to leave you with one exercise, okay? Maybe exercise about the, I think exercise about the desk check. Okay, one desk check, okay? One desk check. Okay, from the same problem. Okay, construct the desk check for this solution. So we already discussed the correct answer. Okay, using the flowchart, you just convert it into algorithm. Okay, and then what I need you to submit is the desk check. Boleh So using what inputs? Using these inputs. So there are going to be 10 inputs. Okay, to be used for your desk check. Boleh tak?
Boleh saya, boleh.
Okay, simple only. So submit this in the lecture section for this week. Jangan silap lagi So untuk yang last week, you can resubmit again. Okay, for last week, those who not submitted over here, resubmit again. So for this week, submit over here, lecture Okay, any question? Any question? No? Mini project. Everyone okay? Mini project. Have you find out all your group members yet? Ke ada yang tak jumpa group member dia siapa?
Dah jumpa.
Semua no problem Okay. So from the requirement of the mini project, you need to conduct meeting every week at least once a week So once a week, you need to conduct a group meeting and you need to record it. Don't forget to record your meeting. Okay, later on there will be a mark for that. So if you have less than 6, I think 6, you need to have minimum 6 every week. Starting from last week, you need to have 1 per week. Okay, if no question, then see you guys tomorrow. Boleh
Boleh sir.
Alright. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you sir.
Sir,
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
can
Thank you, sir.
I ask you to share the notes earlier?
Yeah. What? Sorry. Apa soalan ni?
Note yang pasal loop, note yang pasal loop tu boleh tak share?
Ini saya dah share kan? Ini saya dah share. Oh, yang saya tukar tadi.
Ya.
Boleh. Ini saya yang original tadi saya dah share itu dekat group. Ini saya share yang V2, okay?
Okay.
Boleh.
Thank you sir.
Sir.
Yeah.
Kalau yang automatic tu user memang tak boleh tukar.
Automatic tidak sesuai untuk digunakan. Tapi boleh sebenarnya, tak ada masalah. Boleh, tapi tidak sesuai. Boleh. Tapi saya tak tunjuk sebab tak sesuai. Boleh tapi. Jawapan dia boleh.
Alright sir, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you sir.
Yes, sir.